but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our life tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm moving my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. Killing time, we got nowhere to be. You're sending messages I can't ignore. I'm contemplating coming close to me. I'm bored at home, can't leave the house no more. But I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm losing my love. Yeah, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart. You, when I wake up, I feel empty, not beside you. My whole life been searching just to find you. This quality, it hasn't got the right to keep us apart.
How y'all doing tonight? Hope everybody's doing real good.
Hope everybody's doing real good. I'm gonna hang out here a little bit and see if some more people come in before I get talking. Intuition, and when you get that feeling down deep inside that something is about to happen. Hey, Daisy Joe. Let's see, Sarah Smalls. Yeah, I hope so. Sandy says, "Oh, I hope I can be back from an appointment in time. I don't want to miss this. It's the center of my wow, very interesting." And then Daisy Joe, hey, yeah, I'm gonna we'll just chit chat for a little bit. I'm a little early. Like I was telling y'all yesterday, I got my chores done and took my medicine with my meal, and now I'm sleepy. That metformin makes me sleepy. I'm thinking I probably should get on some vitamins while I take it. But good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. I'm gonna just kind of knock around here and was wondering if anybody saw the shooting in Nashville. Another school shooting in Nashville took a few lives, and apparently it was a female teenager that was the shooter. Wanted to see if anybody had seen that, so I thought I'd come on a little early. Everybody must be somewhere else. Who else is live? I'll probably just go ahead and do my live and go take a nap then. Right. Oh man, Stephers is live. I hate missing her. She's one of my mods. I'm pretty cool at that. Everybody got their Rap Mellow merchandise, it looks like. That Rap was selling. That's pretty cool. T-shirts and mugs, yeah. Yeah, does he? That was sad, wasn't it, man? Wow. And yeah, Nashville school shooting, 3 students and 3 adults killed. And that was per Fox 10 News Nashville. Um, Now this says Nashville school shooting latest 25. Not sure what the real count there is. Let's see. Is this early? Yeah, I am early. I wanted to talk about this school shooting before I got into my live. So it is 4. So take your time. I'm just wanting to see if anybody wanted to talk about that before I got into my topic. It looked like there was quite a few people live talking about it, so I wanted to since there's a lot of us in the area, I thought maybe I should go live and talk about it. But no rush, no big whoop. I'm gonna hopefully talk my husband into making some coffee while we're waiting, because I'm about to doze off. We had pizza for lunch. That made me sleepy. Yeah, no worries, no rush. Hey.com, good to see you. Did you see the shooting in Nashville also.com? A school shooting. Hopefully I can talk him into making some coffee or I'm going to doze off. Man, I don't know if it's the medicine or if I'm needing a vitamin or what, but holy cow, man. Right? What do I need to put up today? Today is subject matter. No. I don't know how much people believe in intuition, so maybe I should go with this one. Yeah. Sarah, hey. .com said I heard about it. Same here. That's why I came live. I was hoping maybe somebody. I'll be in and out of chat working a little. Okay. 28-year-old female I read in chat unconfirmed was in transition on testosterone. Ex-student of the school. Wow, that's going to be a heavy topic, isn't it? Gee whiz, man. That's scary. Yeah, so I thought I'd see if let me go see if I can pull this up here. Hold on, let me tell my husband to be quiet. See if I can find somebody who talks louder. That guy didn't talk loud enough, did he?
Situation. Speaking to you at this point will be National Chief of Police John Drake, the Director of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation David Roush, Nashville District Attorney Glenn Funk, and then Nashville Fire Director Chief William Swan. Again, this is the second briefing. There will be other briefings to be held here in the same spot later this afternoon. We'll continue to brief throughout the rest of the day. Chief Drake.
First and foremost, I want to say Thank you all for being here on this very unfortunate situation. My heart and prayers go out to the families of the 6 people who were tragically injured. Um, what what I know at this point is at 10:13 today, officers responded to a shots fired call to Covenant School. It's a church school. Officers immediately responded. A team of 5 immediately went in the school, went to where gunshots were being heard, and engaged the suspect. We have identified the suspect right now, tentatively a 28-year-old female white. We know the address of that person as well, and so we have some ongoing investigations as to that. We have 3 adult victims, and we have 3 children who have been identified, and their families have been contacted. Right now, I will refrain from saying the ages, other than to say I was literally moved to tears to see this and the kids as they were being ushered out of the building. I want to say thanks to all of our partners, to the FBI, to the ATF, and other federal partners, to the THP, Tennessee Highway Patrol, the TBI, the District Attorney, and to the Fire Department, who all came together and seamlessly addressed this situation as quickly as possible. I've already gotten a request from the national media about a great response. We're still assessing that as well. But what I can say and what I've said before is that whenever I hope that we would never have this situation, that if we ever did, we would not wait. We would immediately go in and we would immediately engage the person perpetrating this horrible crime. And so that's all I can say. Right now, we have David Rouse, director of the TBI, who will come out to me to address his portion. And then we have others that will say something as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Again, I want to echo what Chief has said in reference to the great support and the great teamwork that has been taking place here.
So that's how many. I'm not going to play all the. There's conflicting stuff online though. It's awful. So prayers out to all those in the area and anyone that has family in the area. That's awful. I can imagine this is going to give. Okay, I just saw 2 minutes ago breaking news. Sarah Wandra in the monkey case has been ruled competent now. So that case, it looks like we'll be moving forward soon. Monkey Vaughn, the Michael Vaughn case, the little boy that was outside playing and abducted by Sarah and her boyfriend or husband. Yeah, that is great news. I'm ready for that to get on the ball, right? I'm ready to hear what the hell happened, you know? Yeah, it stinks. Nashville school shooting. Authorities give update. JLR is the one who has the latest update on Sarah Wandra. If anyone's interested in that, I will share it on my page now. I didn't think he'd strike me. I'd play it. Sarah Wandra competent to stand trial? It's about time, boy. You know, his mom's been through it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so those are some updates. It's been a long time. The family needs justice and closure. I agree. I'm going to share that real quick. Just give me 1 second, guys, so I can share that. Okay, I got that. And then, okay, I got that. Hey, the Den, good to see you. I'm glad you're able to come. It's weird on my computer. It says I don't have anybody in chat, but on my phone it says I do. Weird. Oh well. Okay. We're going to talk about women's intuition or intuition, pretty much, for anyone. Have you ever had an incident in your life where you had a premonition, so to speak, or just a gut feeling something went right? I have a real quick comedic short that I want to play real quick for you. Listen here.
You know they talk about women's intuition? It's real. Women have evolved to tell if you're a creepy weirdo. This is like they know this is to preserve their life. Women can talk to you for a few seconds and go, something's wrong with him. He's odd. They're good.
Isn't that right? We can talk to someone for just a few minutes and go, something's not right with this one. Do you all agree with me? It's been a long time the family job. Yes, I agree. Did you hear that? Yes. Yes. Or it could be a doctor. And there's just something about that doctor or something about that teacher, something about that professor, something about that neighbor, something about the lady at the cashier place. Something ain't right, right? Do we act on those? Do you usually act on those? I do. Yes. AFK, be right back. Okay. Okay. Here, I'll drop a link for anybody who wants to come share their experiences where you followed your gut instinct and it probably saved your life or someone else's life. I can tell you a shit ton. If I can say that in the first 10 minutes here on YouTube. That has happened to me quite a lot. And family members I have taught me, I guess, to act on that. And so, yeah, I act on it. I mean, I'll even say to, my husband, my girlfriend, my son or daughter, so and so, don't mess with them. Something's not quite right. Do we feel those about creators? Do we ever feel something just isn't quite, I can't put my finger on it, but there's just something not quite right with this creator, and I might not go back and watch them again. Like, take for instance, while we're listening to Constant Sue, and she's going over old footage of Andrew Hill. Didn't we all get that feeling in the Summer Wells case? There just wasn't something right with him. And as we peel back the layers of the onion, we see there's, right? Anybody? I think that it's not just women, though. I think that men also have a gut instinct. I think that we may be more in tune with those feelings and emotions, and we definitely probably act on them more and make decisions based off those feelings more so than men because we're nurturers, right? Um, what are y'all's thoughts and feelings? I've got some stuff to read here, but I want to make sure there's somebody in here listening before I read all this. And I'll just pass my time away and go do something else. What is tuition? By definition, intuition is the ability to acquire knowledge without the need for conscious logic and reasoning. The very lack of reasoning being involved in its correct functionality makes the entire process very, very layered and deep. The subconscious brain attempts to recognize, process, and use patterns of thinking based on prior experiences and the best guess. Intuitive thinking and decision making are based on our past experiences and therefore are repeatedly successful in similar situations where previous outcomes and learning were useful and accurate. And the role of intuition appears to be no different in our everyday thought processes than in more crucial decisions. Do you let your intuition play a role in your critical thinking? My kids used to tell me I had ESP. That's right. I have not heard ESP in forever. That is a 70s term, isn't it? That is, but it's still here, isn't it? And I would like to think that I do use it as part of my decision making and my critical thinking. Chips happens to be me every day. I had it today regarding Constance and Andrew Hiltness. I had intuition on him from very day one, big time. And other creators too, of course. So when we have those feelings about people and we've never met these people, um, are we acting on them or are we just shrugging them off? Do we let it play a role in our critical thinking? Yes, critical thinking, but it takes awareness of the intuition and differentiating it from judgment. Very true. Intuition to me is a gut. Like, I had a gut feeling I should have this show today. It's going to touch somebody somewhere. Don't know who, don't know why. But and I said, I know what I'm going to do my show about today. And I don't know if it was a dream I had or what, but I thought this is something we should talk about. Okay, let's see. The science behind intuitive thinking. Intuition is something that is correlated to our emotions and as a result is hard to immaculately study and process in a set of patterns. It happens on a speculative basis and hence has raised a lot of questions regarding its mechanism and explanation. Because just like everything else, something as mysterious as intuitive thinking must also have a definition and explanation behind it, i.e., science. I let my intuition lead me. I call it my gut feeling. Amen. I do too. Oh yeah, I wanted to change my banner to, just in case some people don't like this kind of talk. It to me a long time to understand the difference. To me, judgment is right brain thinking. Is that right? And intuition would be left brain thinking with your emotion. Is that right? And I can tell the difference. I can tell the difference between I'm thinking with logic and over here I'm thinking based off emotion. It's just a feeling I get, honey. Just trust me. And damn it if it ain't right every time. Right? Yes, and reorganize and what? Recognize the difference. I think that's what she meant to say. Okay, let's see. Um, I want to jump down here to the 4 types of intuitive thinking. As per studies, there are 4 types of intuitive thinking that can be identified in human nature. Each of them is significant and distinguished in their own unique way, but are very much present in any given scenario. They are emotional intuitive thinking. Emotional intuition has to do with the ability to immediately pick up on others' personality traits and emotional states. You can see who they are and how they are without them having to say anything. This is a subconscious way of reading and seeing through personalities and intentions. 2 is mental intuitive thinking. Mental intuition is about finding an immediate answer to a problem without analyzing it or giving it any rational reason. It's very common in people with jobs that require quick decision making, like firefighters or bomb technicians, where an instant decision can make or break a situation. Psychic intuitive thinking. This type of intuitive thinking means having the ability to overcome any personal difficulty or a state of personal crisis without putting much mental effort into it. This is a form of self care that copes and defends our own minds from negative impacts and influences. And finally, the 4th one is spiritual intuitive thinking. Spiritual intuition has to do with states of enlightenment, revelations, and illuminations. There's Sandy says, "Hey, I finally get to meet you."
Oh my gosh, I'm on here.
Hey,
I
good
was
to meet
fumbling around. I was fumbling around because I've never been on StreamYard before. So I
you.
kept
Great.
signing in to it. Anyway. Look at my name. I screwed up my
That's okay.
it was signing me in under my main Google account, which is not my Sandy Says YouTube account. So I just went through with that, and then it made me type in my name, which now I'm SS Sandy.
I was like, can I change it? I wonder if
Anyway, so
I can change it for you.
it doesn't matter.
Edit name.
And
Yeah,
then
I think I can change it.
because I've never been on a panel before, I've never been on StreamYard before, and I know that I had to shut off my YouTube, which I did. So now I'm trying to get the best volume. Is there a volume setting in StreamYard as well?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Oh wait, I see an
Audio.
audio, but I think that's just my audio. I don't want to get you off track, Jesse.
Mic.
Speaker blood.
Okay,
Yes,
it's on
showing me.
automatic adjust mic. Let me turn you up over here. Let me try this one.
Mute camera
See if this sounds
settings.
better. Now do you
I can hear you
hear?
pretty well. I hear it. It's just not as clear and loud as it was through my YouTube.
Okay.
So anyway, hey.
Hey.
I'm totally
I'll get my
not
husband to play with it.
Forward. I'm trying to get where my background doesn't look so stupid. There's a
Oh, you look fun.
there's a lamp. See, I'm back. There's a lamp over here with the board. I'm trying to get where it's just.
You're fine.
That's my antique drawing board that I use as a headboard on my wall behind my bed.
I love that. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I want you to pick up that where you were leaving off because that is such good stuff.
I was going over the 4 types of intuition, and I had just finished with the spiritual. So go ahead and tell us how it affects you in your daily life.
Well, and it is daily life. That's one of the things I wanted to bring forward about it. And it can, of course, serve you in not negative to you, but I mean, in detecting negative situations in people, as well as noticing, promising things that come your way. And something that I left a comment on your announcement about your live earlier is for me anyway, I went through a lot of trying to learn what sometimes my intuition just comes in unexplainable little thoughts a lot of times. So
right.
for me, trying to recognize those thoughts for what they are versus just being, like you just said, our left brain critical thinking is going on. We have thoughts going on all day and opinions and, about things we encounter. And I don't want to be selective, but just because you already brought it up, because I was in the bathroom and I thought, she's talking about the constant thing. That's the one thing that's on my mind. I peeked in there this morning when she started that, and I think she did something on him yesterday or day or two before already, but
she did, yeah.
And I hate to do this, but just seeing that name in today's context, because I was following the Summer Wells case. I'm not looking at the camera. I don't know where the fuck it is. Okay. Yeah, bear with me.
That's okay.
Is that, and I'm picking on him as an example because he's such an easy one. But back when I was on Summer Wells, when he first popped up out of nowhere, he first came in. And I'm just giving y'all this as a example of 1,000. Everything about me just, it didn't even have to be a linear thought. It's just, whoa.
I know.
There's a baggage of something behind this that I don't think I want to deal with. And then that kind of evolved itself to confirm. That's another thing, is looking for your confirmation. But I think getting back to my real point is learning to recognize it for what it is, which is what a lot of people need some work on, to be able to fully take advantage of the intuition that exists in them, because they're not understanding the difference between a fleeting thought, our consciousness, which comes, okay, so we can put numbers on it that are debatable, but a lot of people say that our conscious, our day-to-day immediate thoughts, immediate opinions about things are driven by 90% of that is driven from our subconscious, from all that little baggage we've got. So when we think we want this, or that's our friend, or this is the job I want, whatever, it's all subconsciously driven, and that can be a real trickster, is what I'm saying.
For me, it will stop me in my tracks. I can be just in the middle of something. I use this analogy because I remember working with various types of personalities when I was in sales. And when you come close to someone like that, and you're, going over a contract or whatever, you step back, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm getting bad vibes off this guy. And you kind of go to the side and go, I don't know about this one. I don't know if we should go through the deal with this one. It really is an emotion, a feeling you get.
that's actually a good example for this, though, is that what if somebody was in that position you were in, and everybody's experienced those kind of situations with people, but to put it in the context of what I was describing, is that you're in a job. You're doing a job and you're encountering these different personalities, and you know that this person is a little put off-putting to
Right.
you. But if your drive is that's overridden by the fact that you're there to do a job, so you just keep interacting with them, you're doing your job, and a lot of times that can get us into a trap because you're
Hmm.
kind of pushing away that initial
Oh, isn't that the
uh,
truth?
intuitive message from it. But oh, we've got this job to do, so let's interact, let's eat it. And once you're tangled up with a certain person for any superficial reason, whatever little monsters might be climbing around in there that they were hollering at you, that can get you in trouble because now you're engaged in it, and your
Hmm.
guard is not necessarily up. So just for me, it was. And I'm gonna put one other thing in this topic right now, probably five others, but let's do one. Um, I was raised Southern Baptist. I'm a
I
good old
was
Bible
too.
Belt girl. I have my own journey apart and away from that. That's another conversation. That's another show. But the conditioning is what I'm getting at. Is most of us are raised to not be overcritical of people, don't judge people, things like that, and that was so ingrained in me, and this was my big speed bump in my process here was that uh, trying to learn the difference and deprogram that guilt if I'm judging somebody. If I'm
Right.
judging that person, then I think I'm better than them, or I don't
Oh,
have as
isn't that
many
the truth?
thoughts as
Now,
they
see,
do. And
Sandy, I'm having that issue here. I feel
mm,
bad for feeling these things, and people are saying you shouldn't be. But at some point, we are human. We are judgmental
mhm.
just because that's who we are. You
But we're
know, and
so taught to don't be that way. It's not okay to be that way. That does not mean,
exactly.
and I still have a problem being judgmental and verbalizing it a little too
Right.
much than what I'm comfortable with. But and I catch myself in these live chats and like I don't want to be that person, but I'm typing
Right.
away when I'm getting
Right.
triggered and reacting,
Right.
and I'm like, oh, why did I do that? But really, the thing is overriding and understanding. Yes, we shouldn't be too judgmental and harsh on people. That is a fact. But separating that entire concept from following your intuition. And then if you do
Right.
follow your intuition without the guilt ridden, I'm judging, just screw all that. When it's your intuition, honor it, pay attention to it, pay homage to that. But then how do you handle that? For me personally, a lot of times in this community, in this situation we're all in, there's quite a few people that I just can't subject myself to. And if they jump on a panel, I don't go to another panel and start talking about what a creep they are. I don't say anything in chat to try to incite drama. I just remove myself from it. I just know if I'm getting that tense ick
Right.
factor, I just have to go away,
Right.
and because I'm not going to do anything by stirring the pot, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, recognizing it for what it is, I think that's a good jumping off point for a lot of people that, or maybe far past that, but also maybe in the journey I was stuck in where I struggled with that for so many years of breaking that program of guilt, bad, you're being judgmental, no, there are bad people in this world.
Hmm.
And aside from that, they can just be people that are dealing, and I was this person. That's the other
Hmm.
thing that came out of this journey is that I could look in the mirror and
Right.
started realizing I am that person who's damaged and tangled up and acting accordingly and making bad choices and, not recognizing how much of me had a role in that while I'm blaming the asshole. I'm
Yeah.
blaming the asshole that upset me or did me wrong. So, well, how did I get entangled with that asshole? The more you start going back to the mirror and learning what got you entangled in that, well, that goes back I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. That goes back to our intuitive. If you're listening to that intuition and you know to recognize it for what it is. But, and I'm being redundant, but a icky thought or just a negative vibe from somebody, we are trained and ingrained and indoctrinated
We are.
to take on guilt and wrongness about that. No, that your intuition is telling you there's something here that's a hot potato that you shouldn't pick up.
Right.
And of course, we can easily segue that to our romantic relationship.
Oh, sure. Sure. Or
You
even
know,
like if we're going into, say, to pay gas, and we just pick up on a feeling this guy's about to get robbed. You know, I'm gonna pay at the pump, and that's happened. We're paying at the pump, and he's getting robbed inside, and it's just a
And
feeling we had to pay at the pump. You know.
and it may not even be defined. It's just a moment, like you explained, where just something feels nervous.
Yeah.
You can't define it or what, but something feels a little nervous. Don't ignore that stuff.
I
And
agree.
if you have learned to determine it from your own crap, generalized anxiety going on that shouldn't be there
Right.
versus it's an intuitive moment. I'll tell you a real quick story and I'll shut up and let y'all talk and do what you need to do. I want to hog your
There's
whole
only
panel.
3 people here, so you're good. Go ahead.
Oh my God. Nobody wants to talk about this.
Nobody comes to my lives.
This is doing nothing for my ego. My very first time on a panel anywhere
Well, you
ever.
look great. You did great. You're doing great.
We got 3 people. That's probably a good thing, though, really.
They'll come watch the replay.
Like for instance, it just happened to me this past week. Now I've been widowed for over 35 years. From my little love of my life, from the time I was 17 till I was 25. And so I have his picture, a little frame on the wall, just right across from my bed, on a little shelf, right across the room from me. And no offense to him, he wouldn't take it that way, but I don't think about his ass every single day anymore. It's been 35 years. So I'm establishing the fact that this is not a daily normal thing. I woke up, I think it was about 3 days ago now. I woke up one morning and he was on my mind so heavy. And I thought, why is Wesley around me? And I even took a few seconds before I got out of bed to look up at his picture for a few seconds because of that feeling I had when I woke up and I was compelled to look at his picture. And
Right.
about 2 hours later, his sister called me and said that his other sister, my sister-in-law, had died in her sleep that night. They had found her that morning. And I didn't even connect it right away because when you get news like that, it's surprising and it's unexpected. Right. And I got off the phone with the living sister-in-law, and probably it was about 30 minutes later, I went outside to smoke a cigarette. I'm digesting this loss, and I went, oh, wait a minute. I woke up thinking about her brother, my husband, this morning, looking at his picture.
That is exactly what happened with my daughter. My husband and I, we woke up in the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep. We got up. We smoked a cigarette outside. We were living at the beach, and I got a phone call, and they said, this is Sergeant Arndt with the Gaston County Police Department. I'm calling for Amanda Mabe's mother. And I said, this is she. And he said, are you alone? And I said, no. And he said, may I speak to your, whoever you're with? And I said, why can't you tell me? And he said, ma'am, please, like, don't make me. And he told my husband she had been shot to death.
Oh, and that was similar to the call.
But we were already awake. It is the weirdest thing. I guess it's intuition. Neither of us could sleep. We were both uneasy, and then the phone rang. We were both wide awake. It was the weirdest thing. She died at like 1:45 in the morning. So they must have called me around 2 a.m.
Why would you be awake at that hour?
When smoking cigarettes on the back porch, I mean.
those things, the people don't make the connection a lot of times. That's kind of what I'm saying about learn how to understand when this is happening and you can recognize it for what it is.
Right.
And even when I was a little kid, I was in elementary school, and I got up in the middle of the night like that one night. I think I was about 8 years old, and or younger even, like 6 or 7. I think I was in the first grade. I woke up in the middle of the night, traipsed down the hall to my mom's room and woke her up. And this was unprecedented. I never did that, you know. I went and woke her up and I said, I can't sleep, I can't sleep. And she's like, what's wrong with you? I don't know, but I can't sleep. And I was, please, can I get in the bed with you? I got in the bed with her, and 5 minutes later, the phone rang. Our school had just burned down.
Oh no.
Somebody called her to, you know, the school had burnt down like late at night, in the middle of the night. That was a whole ordeal afterwards about going to school and eating in the classroom. The whole school smelled like smoke. You know, and so I remember
Right.
all of that. But it was just I was up in the middle of the night as a kid and could not sleep. I was agitated. I
Now,
had a
if you
dream.
grew up Southern Baptist, your mom probably walked around the house and said, I got a bad feeling something's about to happen. Did she ever do that? My mom
She
did
did that
too.
sometimes. Yeah, she
I
did
got a
that
bad
sometimes.
feeling, and sure enough, someone at the church or someone in our family has passed. It never
Yeah,
failed,
because
or a
these
car
things
wreck or
happen
whatever.
all the time. But the important thing I kept stressing is that people can benefit their life and their choices and their direction so much better if
If they just
they
listen
are
to
in
it.
tune with that, because y'all all have it. It's like a muscle. You use it, you exercise it, you pay attention to it. But I just think that a lot of people stumble through this busy, crazy life day to day, so consumed and preoccupied with all the minutia, you know, around us, bills
Hmm.
and kids acting up and late mortgage payments or whatever, um, and other family members. Other family members can have a big toxic effect on us. All of that stuff overshadows our intuition if we have not exercised it and identified it.
I agree with
So
you. I
people,
think that it can go dormant if you're not using it and working it and nurturing it. It can go
mhm.
dormant.
Or even if it's not dormant, you'll blow it off as some fleeting weird thought that just
Right.
passed by, and then you just go right back onto what you're plugged into. So you're missing the
Right.
hit. You know, you're missing. So that's one thing I want to say is that people, I think, if they focus on this and don't have such hang-ups about that it's some woo-woo sacrilegious stuff, or it's not at all. This is our natural human state. This is
Hmm.
how we're wired. This is our consciousness that we are evolved to have, and God gave us. And
Right.
because it all gets a little jumbled and masked with all of the man-made religions and the indoctrinations, and that's where people get the wrong idea about
Right.
it. You know, you're not playing with evil spirits, or you know, those are not demons trying to
Yeah, I sort
steer
of feel
you
like it's a
wrong.
basic instinct that God
Yeah.
did give us for our own self-protection. And like I feel like animals have it too. They sense
Oh, I was just about
danger.
to say that. I was
I
waiting for
feel
you
like
to finish the
animals,
statement.
yeah.
If you look at the birds and how they know to migrate, and you know, you and I were talking the other day, a day or two ago, about the grounding with the earth and the effects
Oh
that
yes.
has on us. And if you start more and more understanding that you are a part of this nature and natural environment and the whole environmental cycle, we are all a part of that, just like all these critters and animals that seem to know a lot more than we do about
Yeah.
unseen forces and weather changes and season
Oh, isn't
changes.
it the truth?
We are supposed to be exactly like that. And that's why the pagans, I know, dirty word, whatever, but that's why the pagans, the pagans followed a cycle of nature worship with the seasons. It's no different. It really isn't any different than honoring the God that created the nature and the seasons and us being a part of that. It's no different than that. It just gets such a bad name, you know, in today's indoctrinations and what's evolved. I don't want to get into a religious political
Right.
conversation.
But it's the truth. It's the truth. I agree with you.
That's another show. But yes, to the intuition thing, I'm not always on top of mine. I still have a lot of issues that I wrestle with, and I know that when I let the external world crapola get overwhelming and it affects my nervous system, and I know when I'm getting buried in that, and
Right.
I know enough to know that when I succumb to that, I'm cutting myself off from everything we're talking about. So that's why it's important to keep yourself in check, you know, and know
Yeah.
yourself. That is one of the biggest is know thyself. Know that you've got this subconscious baggage built up and it's causing you to make certain choices or think certain ways or have certain opinions. And when you clean all that up and you get down to the core of yourself, all of this other intuitive benefit that we are born with can play a big role in helping us out through a lot. I just had to do it today. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was
Right.
having a meltdown today. I was trying
I'm
to get
sorry.
some problems fixed that I don't want to deal with. I'm overwhelmed. I'm burned out, and I caved to it. I came home and I was like, I just can't deal with this shit anymore. And I'm throwing crap across the kitchen, and I had my release. But at the same time, I know you have to keep your boundaries with this. You're gonna get so far away from understanding how to fix or what
Right.
you should or shouldn't do about this. You're gonna
Right.
lose, you know. And so I had to mellow myself out a little bit and throw a few things around my house and have my
I
little
understand
chance.
that.
But I know that I can't stay spiraled into that. I can't stay spiraled into that because I'm gonna lose all the messages that come from within to help me fix it.
Right.
You know?
With the
I,
noise, it does drown us out, you know. It drowns it
Very well
out for
phrased.
me.
Yes, very, very well phrased. Absolutely. October 50th. So now in StreamYard, I can see there will comments that come up, but there's no way that I can see chat while I'm on panel.
Yeah, it should be there at comments. There should be chat and
Oh,
comments.
I'm on private chat.
Now
I see.
press comments or chat,
Uh-huh.
whatever it says, and you'll
I
see
did it. Thank
everybody.
you.
Yeah.
I clicked comments and it dropped down the whole chat. And so then can you still chat in there from StreamYard or no?
That I haven't figured out yet. I
Yeah,
haven't
I
figured
don't
that
see
out
that.
yet.
And I'm going too from watching so many other creators using StreamYard and having people on panel. Like I knew as soon as it let me in, I clicked my YouTube sound off because I knew that. You know,
Right,
I
right.
knew not to. And that's as a rookie, but just from learning from watching others. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get a little more comfortable getting on panels.
Yeah, you should have your own channel.
I have thought about it so many times. I already have the name picked. I've the name picked out 2 years.
Well,
But I won't
but
tell
think
anybody because I
about
don't want
it.
anybody to steal it.
Our kids and our kids aren't talking about this stuff, you
Our
know? And
kids,
so the more we put it out there, they're going to know when we're gone. You know what I mean? I just
yeah,
don't feel like
yeah.
some things are talked about anymore. And they don't know about earthing and things like that, you
No, I
know?
mean, but at least like the earthing and things like that are becoming a more mainstream common. Like they've heard of it, you know.
Yeah.
At least it's kind of out there. But yeah, there. I don't want to get negative about it because there's hope in there. But the generation, oh Lord, if I could do anything, if I could quit being so sick all the time, and I could apply myself to the outside world a little more. That's one thing I'd love to work with is that next generation. Those kids. I mean, I've applied what I can to my kids. My kids are in their mid to late 30s,
Yeah.
you know, but I'm really, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I'm not trying to be disrespectful of anybody's own path and belief system, but I got us, quote unquote, out of that Bible Belt community thinking and that
Right.
culture and um, I didn't cut them off from it, but I let them see that there's a lot to look at here, worldly and historically, and kind of look at it with critical thinking and
Right.
come to your own conclusion about what works for you. I left it very open, and they just done wonderful. They're two boys, two sons, and they have just done fantastic.
That's good.
We're all the black sheep of the family. I mean, we're all friendly and we're all close and all that stuff, but we are obviously a very different family unit than my extended family units that are raising their generation. But
There's so many other elements to spirituality that religion doesn't tell you about. There's so many other elements to it. So you have to do what you did and tell them, look, this isn't all, because those 20 people that are heaven bound that Little First Baptist Church think they're the only ones going to make it into heaven now, damn it.
I would, like I said, don't let me drag you into the socio-political religious stuff. But when I was raised by the most wonderful people, I had a fantastic childhood that I would not trade for anything. But I was raised about 5 or 6 generations deep in Southern, Baptist. And everybody just does what their parents taught them, and that's how you raise your kids, and it just goes on down the line. And to be honest, and I'm not trying to sound sacrilegious, but I'm just telling my truth, is by the time I was probably about, I'll go back a little bit because this ties in still to what our topic is when I was a little kid, living in this environment, living in this cultural, influence.
Right.
By the time I was probably 5 or 6 years old, like I would look at a pile, an ant pile. We all have those in the South.
Yeah.
And I would like disturb an ant pile and see them all coming out. But what I would see, I didn't realize for a long time what a weirdo I was. Now I get it, I'm a weirdo and I embrace that. But there's a quote by Krishnamurti I have to throw in here. It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And that's Krishnamurti. I love that quote, because I have to remind myself of it a lot. Anyway, so I would disturb the ants and watch them running around. But as a 5-year-old child, what I was seeing, what I was equating that to, is like, oh, that's like a humans crawling all over the planet. That's what we look like.
Wow.
I know. See, isn't that a freak show? 5-year-olds like,
very heavy.
5-year-old, and this is where my mind is going. And then, just being honest, like I said, I can remember sitting in church probably by the time I was 10 or 11 years old, and we all don't have to over-describe the Southern Baptist churches. We all know what they look like. And sitting in there all dressed up like we did every Sunday in my little frilly stuff, and sitting in this, we went to a big First Baptist church, one of those old ones that took up a whole city block.
Right.
And here's where I started struggling with that, is I would be sitting there watching this overdressed man at the podium banging around and yelling, and there was all this fear and threatening stuff going. And I never talked to anybody about it. You don't.
Right.
But I remember being that young and sitting there thinking, this doesn't feel right to me. So I guess I'm going to hell from everything I've been made to understand. I'm just going to go to hell because I don't feel right about this. And I look around at these hundreds and hundreds of congregation of these sweet little old Southern ladies who I love dearly.
Right.
But we're all sitting there like zombie-eyed, taking it in. And I'm like, why are these people just believing this is all the truth there is? And I would, at that age, like I say, 10, 11, I don't know, early in life, would go, whoa, wait a minute. This is a big planet. There's people all over the place and cultures all over the place. Why is this one little hole that I'm sitting in and these people, why is this the only right thing?
Yeah.
But that's just my inquisitive mind. That's just
When
how
when
I
I
was
was a
born.
teenager, and I don't mean any, blasphemy or sacrilege or anything. These are just my
Mm,
thoughts I had as a teenager. I have family that's Thai. I have family that's German. I have family that, it's all that have different religions. And then I later worked for a doctor that was Scientology. But my point was, to me, it seemed like, this can't be all of it, and it seemed like to me
yeah.
that, it was narrow-minded thinking. It wasn't broad-minded thinking,
Yes,
and
exactly.
and yeah,
Perfect.
and it seemed like, it didn't touch on all elements. You know what I mean? And it made me question a lot. And when I questioned, people didn't always have answers. So that made me go outside the church looking for my answers. So I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you
And
mean. But, like,
it's built in that construct, it's built into us. It's already built in there for when we have those thoughts and those concerns. It's already built in for us to feel wrong and guilty for that.
for having questions.
That's part of it that upsets me. That's
Yeah.
called thinking for yourself and wonderment and seeking knowledge and seeking understanding. And some people may branch out into all those things and come right back to, I see all that now, and this is where I want to be.
Right.
Right back where I started. And people do that. But it's, broaden the horizon. I would literally be a little kid sitting in that environment and thinking, well, what about all these tribes in the rainforest that we haven't even found exist? You're trying to apply
Right.
modalities to these people. What about
Right.
the Buddhists and the Hindu who have been around for that? Well, how did they get to thinking the way they think? Don't we want to understand that? And
Exactly.
of course, getting into the ancient Egypt, the mystery schools, and all that
Right.
interesting stuff. And you've got Nag Hammadi libraries and Sumerian texts. And if you think you understand what you believe in, but you don't know what those things are,
Right.
you're missing chunks of the puzzle. Anyway, I'll shut up. Like I said, don't let me get on my soapbox about all that. But
But, as children, when, our parents would say, we believe in XYZ, and we would say, but why? And it was, well, that's because
I mean,
that's what I
why?
was taught. That's because it was what I was taught. And even now, like when I was talking to Alicia Turner, she knows her Bible. I don't. I don't know it. I went to Sunday school, and I went to vacation Bible school, but I don't know. I'm not well read about the Bible. I just know that we were Christian. That's the way it's
I
supposed to
knew a
be.
lot more of it in the past. I don't know it like they do it in this day and time. And like Alicia, God bless her. I love that girl.
Yeah.
She's just such a sweet, good soul. And I totally respect the path that she's on. I
Yes.
mean, she's a great person. But at the end of the day, it's important for everybody to feel sovereign and free to think and wonder and learn and decide for themselves. That is
Right.
the most important thing to me, is to allow everybody that. And there is a lot of uh, ignorance instilled in it, innocently instilled in it. People just pick up what they're taught, and it's ingrained in them to think what blasphemy is, and this is wrong, and this is, excuse me,
Right.
and it makes them not seek that out to even understand it, um, much less explore it to any degree, because they have a wrong connotation about what it is. I have friends who are occultists. I have friends who are Satanists. I'm
Hmm.
not one. Okay, I'm
Right.
saying I know all these people,
Right.
and I managed two different metaphysical shops
Hmm.
for several years. I'm laughing because that's
Explain
the
what it
truth.
is for people that don't know what that is.
What a metaphysical shop is. I mean, a lot of
We
people
have
would
one
refer
at
to
our.
a lot of people refer to them as like New Age, because then there again, what I just referred to, people don't understand the difference between what's labeled as New Age. I went into a lot of rabbit holes on my journey, and I fell into that. I'm going to be careful because I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I fell into that New Age crap without understanding that it was New Age crap. But I don't regret one bit of it. I went through that journey, and I see all of the woo that's thrown into it, and they take a lot of the ancient knowledge that we should be studying and learning about just to have the knowledge of it and then have whatever opinion you want. But there's
Right.
a lot of there's a lot of lingo that's been applied to it that it's just sort of a lost path. That's
Mm.
my opinion. That's my opinion. I got away from all that, but I did take the time to delve into it and think what it was about, and then I saw just there's a lot of grifters in that. There's a lot of grifters, just like there is in our true crime community, and just like there is in the religious community. There's a lot of grifters in that, and a lot of spin. They put a lot of spin on a lot of fancy terms that people have gotten used to
Now it's
hearing.
life coach, isn't it? They've changed their, they went from guru to life coach now, right? I think that's what they call
Thank
themselves.
you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're all
Yeah.
just trying to find a place to have an identity, to build an identity into something. And something else that I'm careful about using the word study because I'm not really a studious person, but I do deep dive into things.
Yeah.
And that is the cult sectors,
Yeah.
whether it's religious cults or, and that spans all kinds of, when you use the word religious. But oh my Lord of mercy, there's more charlatans and gurus running these groups than not. I just kept
Yeah.
running into till I got so jaded. Even these brilliant, impressive sounding little Indian gurus, honey, they're all screwing everybody. They put in, and they're volunteers. They're abusing people. That I saw this over and over and over, and their persona, their public persona, is completely different than what they're really doing and think. They're all narcissists.
Wow.
They're
Did
narcissists.
you ever hear?
They found them.
Did you ever hear that Nexium, the guy that started that
Okay.
cult Nexium, and he was branding
Yeah.
them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
I think maybe some of that, I don't know if it ever got resolved in the judicial system or not.
I know that one girl that was in One Tree Hill. I think she has to do some
Allison.
time.
Allison.
She's got to do some
What?
time for being an accessory. I know that. So
Yeah, I think her name was Allison something. I can't remember her last name. But if you listen to some of the ladies that were in it or retreated from it at a certain point of it getting to, and you listen to what was really going on in that. And Osho, everybody loves Osho's quotes and insights and I did too, just loved it. And then you watch some of these documentaries exposing what he really was and what he was
yeah.
doing. It's just
It's scary, isn't it? I joke in chat that after my incident with Ernie, I'm not safe to answer the door when the Mormons come.
yeah, you say that. Yes. I was dying laughing when I saw
I might not come back from answering the door.
well, and that presents another problem that a lot of people have to cope with, just like you're highlighting. I can't even count how many, I'll call them gurus, but I'm just talking about people who make an online presence for themselves or they write a bunch of books and they start doing conferences and holding these collectives and send me your money and you'll come speak the weekend here and we're going to, do whatever fluff we do. I just kept running into so much of that at some point I thought, I don't feel like I'm on a path that's going to end up anywhere. Because let me get back to my point was the trauma and like I think you've heard say, and I know other people have said, you feel stupid. Your self-esteem. There's a girl I'm still friends with on Facebook. I don't use Facebook except for messaging anymore, but back at the time, she and I got to know each other. She's in Switzerland. She was actually in a cult in New York City years ago.
Wow.
And I met her in a Facebook group where we were busting cults and exposing cults.
Oh,
And
wow.
and she and I are still friends on Facebook. We talk like regularly now because we're exploring diet and health and autism and all of this stuff. She's way out of the cult thing, but we still really revisit when we both run across something new about some new cult. We'll kind of share it with each other. That's not the principle of our relationship anymore, but that is how we found each other. And there's so much more of that going on than people really, I think, realize.
Wow.
But the issue with that is, and it's still on our topic of our intuition and all, is when something like that happens, and you by nature you are going to feel like a dumbass. You're going to go through deprogramming your cognitive, your normalcy bias. Like, how did I let this person and these people make me believe that this was normal?
Right.
How did I get tricked into that? How did I get brainwashed into believing this and feeling this? Hell, I've done it myself. I was in ufology. I've been everywhere, everywhere. But when the feelings that it leaves you with, and then and we can take this get right into our community where we're seeing all this craziness going on, is like there are people adamantly devoted to certain creators right now that some of them at different stages, they have to be starting to let go of that normalcy bias that they're clinging on to. It is much more difficult to convince somebody or help them see a different perspective than it is if they never got in that. It was the one. There's some saying, I can't repeat it exactly, but about cults in general, that they're like, no cult member ever will be convinced they're in a cult.
I see what you're saying.
That's the first sign that you're in a cult, is that you don't think. but there's a process to go through where we have to understand that a lot of these people that are standing behind some of these creators in a total devotee fashion, they got trapped into that mentally and emotionally. That's where they are right now. So when it comes to this whole expansive issue that, I know it wasn't really our topic today, is everybody's focusing on attacking the wrongdoings of the creators. The pseudo bullshit that they're putting out, and the narcissism, and we all, some of us just recognize it, in an instant. Obviously, others don't, because they have followers that are following the same people we're watching, going, what? But the process of these people needing to understand, to look at things a little different, to at least be open-minded to, it's okay, like we were talking about with the religious stuff. It's okay to think for yourself, to not fall into this rigid pattern of belief. It's just really difficult to get people out of that mentality once they're stuck in it. So my point of rambling on about this is that as I watch all of this tit for tat going on, and it's just like it's getting to the point, to speak my honest truth again, it's getting to the point where I get online on YouTube with my little pocket, because I'm not real expansive on YouTube. I follow a good bit of people, but not a lot. I get on, and every day it's like same day, same shit. New day, same shit. It's like it's just going on and on and on, and it's all become about exposing this and deflecting a lie that was told about me over here, but you're doing that, and it just keeps going back in the same circle. And it's like, where in this are we helping these people that have lost their way with following and supporting certain kind of behaviors and certain kind of people? And these people, I'll probably get some backlash for this, but these people are not capable of recognizing who it is they're buying into.
Right.
They just want to be on a team, and they don't really understand what's behind the facade of these personalities. And that's what makes us all crazy. That's why we're all kicking and screaming, going, make them stop, make them stop. But we're addressing the head of the snake, and there's always going to be another head of the snake. The head of the snake we're fighting is never going to succeed to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Right.
followers that are. I guess I'm asking for myself as well as anybody else to try to keep a little compassion for these people that we want to wring their necks because they're holding up these false entities. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're doing the work. They're being the flying monkey. Some of them are just crappy bad people. That's they're just like the person they're following, which is what makes
Right.
them magnetize to
Sometimes
that.
sometimes there's one or two that I'll turn on for about 5 minutes to remind myself I'm not that crazy yet.
Yeah. I'll pick it, even knowing, again, picking on Andrew, even knowing exactly how I felt about that person when he first popped on the scene, it was not subtle. And this is back to my intuition. Everything was screaming like, no. And so I wouldn't watch. I stayed out of that sector of things after established that. But then, boom, here it is, raising its ugly head again. And so I admit, when Constance was covering that, I popped on there. I was like cringing. I was like, okay, go away,
I'll
And
never I'll never forget the time that I turned on my phone or something, and I was right in the middle of cooking or something, and Benny was beating the hell out of the baby doll that was supposed to be Bob. And I was like, okay, yep, I'm still sane. And then I turned it back off. I'm still okay.
yeah, that's how it was. I popped in because we want to support these people that are putting up such a devoted fight against this stuff, like Constance does and you do. And so I clicked on there trying just out of nothing, but just I want to support somebody trying to call him out. And I got on there and it was just like 2 or 3 minutes of the cooties were just, I was like, I'm never going to get this off of
Right,
me today.
right,
It's not going to be like, look. So I just couldn't stay in there. I could not keep listening.
right.
I could see
Well,
through all.
I've got enough variety here that I don't go down that road of trauma. I
Yeah.
don't want to go down that road. I'll go watch it, make
Mhm.
comments and that sort of thing, and we'll discuss it in here. But that's not what I want my channel to be, you
And
know.
I think that maybe a lot of people don't realize. I was thinking about this the other day. When were you in that chat with when Constance was on the Scientific Skeptic?
Yes.
Now I've watched the Scientific Skeptic as my own little niche off to the side. I've watched him for probably 2 years now,
Mm,
and so I'm very familiar with him and his platform and whatnot. And so it was kind of a world colliding when all of a sudden I've got Constance on there doing a bang up job, and all you guys are in chat, and I was like, what is happening? I'm on Skeptic, and there's all this from the other community is over here, which I thought it was fantastic to have everybody. But the point of going out with that is there was a moment later in it. I don't know if everybody saw, but there was a really long line where Jimbo popped in there, and
yeah.
he's not familiar with scientific. So Skep was explaining to him a little bit of the background of what he's been through, what happened to him with Chris McDonough.
Right.
And see, I was there for all that. But so where I'm going with this is that I don't think a lot of people realize that we've got this little community niche that's taken on a life of its own. But this is going on everywhere else too.
Yeah.
I pop in these little subcultures off to the side, and it's the same personality type attacking the same people, using the same tactics. And then even when I scroll my feed, my YouTube feed, there's people I don't even recognize the channel or whoever's names they're popping in their title, but it's the same attack. It's the same expose, attack, lies, slander. It's going on everywhere. So we're kind of exposed to a lot more of it than just what's in this little niche. But that's what takes me back a little bit. And I'm going, how many of my hours on YouTube are exposing me to this constant, ghetto,
Psychological,
game?
warfare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like how
It's
did I get
definitely
my
social warfare, psychological warfare, spiritual warfare, and we all
Uh-huh.
dealt with biochemical warfare 2 years ago, and we dealt with
And
that, right?
there's
I think
something
it's
I
a
probably
different type war, and we're definitely at it.
Yes, yes. And there's something that I discussed with Jimbo, oh my God, a good year ago. And I brought it up in your chat a time or two about this, exactly what you're saying. Is I was emailing Jimbo and I said, this is absolute spiritual warfare. And I was trying to explain to him, this is territory that's completely unfamiliar to him. So he's going, what? You know?
Right. It's a
But I
coach.
felt very passionate about it. Is that there's something referred to as egregores. And egregores are egregores of energy that, any group of people can build up a swell of collective energy. Collective energy. It can be a group of people like us, good, bad, or ugly, good energy egregores, negative, toxic, in our little community that we're doing. But cities, entire towns, entire countries can have egregores of energy. And so it's kind of I'm getting way off. I'm going to lose people if they listen to this.
I wanted to write that word down.
EGREGORES.
Okay.
Or just egregore singular. Yeah, you can look it up, Wikipedia and all. There'll be some good explanations about it. But I was trying to explain this to Jimbo a year ago, when all this was getting crazy with the Ernie stuff and Nicolina and everything coming in. And I watched that in my day-to-day life. I watched that happen over and over and over. And I'm bringing us back around to that because that's another intuitive muscle that develops. When you can feel, and a lot of times, I hate this exact examples that are people, in our group, but okay, I'm not going to say the name, but there was somebody that Ernie got very, very involved with, and all of a sudden she's his sidekick every day. And I mean, from day one, and this goes right back to that first thing we're talking about the battle of being judgmental or critical versus just following intuition. And I saw this person, and it wasn't, I'm seeing a bad person, nothing like that. I was instantly getting the energy, the vibe of a very destabilized person, a person that had connected themselves with him for all the wrong reasons. A lot of personal agenda, baggage reasons, that stuff that she needed to go heal from, not, channel it to him and his platform. And I called that out. I called it out several weeks before the shit hit the fan. And then I just sit back going, and there it is. It's like she's having a meltdown and all the stuff behind the scenes, the toxic situation she was in her own family, all that came to it. And I'm trying to sound any kind of way. But when you learn how to listen to this and how to sense it, and know what it is and trust it, it will validate and confirm to you over and over and over that you were exactly right. And it's not like you're psychic to the point that it's not like, oh, I see a situation, I'm just watching as an observer, I'm not involved. But, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. It's not quite like psychic, detail. It's just a feeling, a sense of something off, and this person, you can just kind of see through the layers behind the ones that they're putting forth.
That's so true. That's so true.
So I saw that happen several times. I saw around Ernie more than one person that would jump on him, and I would go, I see what that agenda is. I know why she feels like she wants to do that, and this is how this is going to go. And boom, 2 weeks later, it went exactly the way. And I don't talk to anybody about this. I'm not like laying it out in detail. It's just me, myself, and I going, I see that, and then, oh, and there it was.
Yeah. How much of this do you think is scripted?
Of specifically with him, or
No, 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 not specifically with him, but definitely him included with the creators and their warfare. I'm wondering, do you think that, not to get into anything political, but this emulates a political canceling?
a political canceling, like some other entities not involved in it directly
Like, take for
are wanting
instance,
to see this
a
happen.
scapegoat. Let's say a scapegoat at work. There's always a common enemy at work. If you've ever been in a corporate environment, or
Yeah,
a
yeah.
let's say where you work with a lot of people, or it could be packaging and handling, whatever. There's always a common enemy, a scapegoat for that week, and everybody's hating on that person. And now they call it canceling. They're
Mhm.
canceling so and so, or for whatever. I feel like this is what's happening, that they're trying to cancel this person, or like right now they're canceling Molly Golightly.
Yeah, yeah. I keep saying lately, I've been finding myself using the phrase, it's a chess game. Like it's all a chess game. These people are choosing who they're going to pick on next with an agenda. And they
Yes.
just they need somebody to be creating drama with, to be in. What bothers me a lot about it is people just aren't real people to them, or if they are, they don't care. Um, it's I need somebody to pick on, to draw attention to myself, to have some drama, to have some good click titles. I'll pick that one. Okay.
Right,
And I'm gonna
because
pick hard. I'm gonna find some poo on that one and make up a few lies and slander. And I'm just gonna get on the webcam and click live, and I'm just gonna spew all this. And then all my little flying monkeys get all stirred up, and they're all gonna pat me on the back and build my ego. Oh yeah, you're so right. Yeah, everybody's gonna agree with me. All the yes men are gonna come in line, and then there's gonna be this thing that never should have existed. That never should have been a thing. And it is just as big a problem that the people trying to neutralize that, trying to step up and go, hey, that's wrong. They're still feeding that egregore of
right.
interest that has been created by that person who just really, at anybody's expense, wants to stay relevant, wants to keep the clicks and the views. They're all looking at numbers way too much. And I watch.
They were picking on my numbers the other day. A troll did, and I thought to myself, I will take my 5 little people that are in here right now, if that means I don't have to deal with the drama, and I don't have to deal with a mob mentality taking over my whole channel. That will never happen. I will close
Right.
this down before that ever happens.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
This
I'm not desperate for numbers like that. I'm here for a different reason, I guess. And whether this paid me or not, I would be here. I would be here
I
talking to
could.
you
I've had.
guys.
I've had a couple of years of being an observer, a participator. Excuse me, in the YouTube community, in the true crime that turned into whatever the fuck this is now. But but and I get to close where it's like, I want to do this. I have a lot to say. I have opinions, but I'm also kind of tired and discombobulated. I got a million things I need to do. I need to add this to my plate. Do I need to add this to my psyche? And then do I need to get into the feeling compelled to keep up a certain frequency of
Mhm.
uploads or something? It's like, this feels like such a job. I don't know. But I would not get into it. I don't want to get into it caring about how often I put up a video or how
Oh,
often I go
same
live,
here.
or if there's 10 people watching me. I mean, I live alone. I am a loner hermit, man. And I have some friends, don't get me wrong, anything, but if I were on a channel, I had a channel, and I had 20 people listening to me, that would be weird to me.
I'll tell you the truth. When they made fun of me the other day about only having so many people, I said, when it gets to be up over 20, I get nervous and I shut it down because I have anxiety. I have big social anxiety. And like when I was in sales and I would have to give a speech, I would go take a shot of whiskey just so I could do it because I was so scared of all these people listening to me. And so when I
That's
see
really
the
cool.
numbers go up, I start thinking about all these people in that room that I was giving a speech to. And I go,
Well,
okay,
and
I'm ready to end it. I rush. I rush
let me
off.
plug this in. Okay, I'm a 60-year-old tag that's not even. I haven't had a shower today, so I am
But
what
you
I
look
am. Usually this is
beautiful. You're
language
beautiful.
thing. But no, I mean, this is just my old stuff. I embrace it. But I had to preface this by saying, on this note, I used to be an actress. I used to do TV commercials and work on movie
That's
stuff.
fantastic,
So
right?
I laugh about it when I sit thinking about these things when I'm interacting with y'all. And I'm like, I just did a channel. I could at least get on panel. Like, I won't even go on panels. Like, I used to be in front of a camera for a long
I
time.
know.
But that was a different beast a little bit because I look like Barbie, so that helps a little confidence there. But at the time, I'm saying, but it was scripted. I had to personify the script that we needed to do, and that was an organized situation for me, and I did it, and then my job was done, and I went on with my life. Whereas this, it's like me, like I'm doing now, just running my mouth, and am I talking too much, and I'm
That's all
digressing.
you do. They love it.
You
They eat it
know,
up. Yeah,
that's
I
what
think
makes it such a different beast. And then the other element to it is in this world that we're in right now, this YouTube community world, and everybody getting picked on and harassed, and it's like, God, I don't need to deal with trolls and people. So I go back and forth. I oscillate between. I really want to do a channel. It would be good for me. Um, to the it's too much work, it's too much commitment, trolls, and somebody's going to scoop me up and decide they want to dig up my social security number and my firstborn and whatever. I have to think about all these things, and my hat's off. I mean, y'all are so brave to put yourself out there, especially in the ghetto tactics. I just want to say hi to Casey Justice. I just saw her in here. I don't know how long her comments.
Yeah, October Baby came in, Dark to Light, let's see, .com,
Oh, Dr.
Chasing
Light too, and
Justice,
Daisy Joe's been speaking up.
and Daisy
.com.
Joe came in listening to us. So thank you guys for coming and listening and being patient while we shot the shit.
Well, we shot the shit. And don't let me, anybody that wants to come up, please bump my ass off of here. I don't care one bit. I'm perfectly fine with that. And that's the other thing about if I were to try to do a channel, keeping up with chat. I watch y'all doing it and I'm like, I can't do that. Keeping up with chat and the discussion, Now
Well,
you're like a DJ.
your mods will help you with that too. Your mods will help you with that too. Like when
I'm
they
just
see,
terrible about it.
I notice when they see I'm like talking to you, I'm not going to like interrupt you to say hello to them because I think that's rude to my guests. So I'll like
A
drop
lot
a
of people do
comment.
that. I don't like it. That's just my
Yeah,
personal opinion. And
right.
I'm not going to name any names, so I can't think of right now, but there's people in the true crime stuff that are doing the true crime channels that I really like. And I started listening to them, but I just couldn't keep listening to them because they would literally, and I'm sorry, I'm not offending anybody, I hope, but they would literally constantly start a sentence or be in the middle of a really deep conversation about a topic and get
Yeah.
half a really important sentence and then go, oh, hey, Martha, oh, hey, yeah, and then they'll start,
I
and I'm
can't
like, wait,
stand that. I cannot
so
stand
on
that.
what you just started saying, and then you're taking me over here, and what the ping pong game starts going in my wiring, and maybe that's just more me and my issues, my
I want to know what
positive.
they've got to say too. Yeah, one person in particular, and I love her to death, but Daisy over at the farm is bad at that. Where she'll be right in the middle of saying something important about Donna Candace. Then she'll go, "Well, hello," and I'm like, what
Thank
was
you.
it? What was it?
That
What was it?
exactly
Yeah,
drives me nuts.
and that's
It's
fine if
just,
that
like I said, I'm
works
not
for
dissing
her.
on anybody. I'm not dissing on anybody. It's probably more me. I have some weird sensory processing disorder.
Right. Well,
I've had them
like
all my life.
when you start your channel, your mods will say thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here. Sarah's really good about that, and she'll
Oh,
like
she's
drop
great. Yeah.
links or yeah, she
Where is
engages.
Sarah? Oh my gosh. Where is Sarah?
I think she's cheating on me. She's been over in other chats. I haven't seen her in a couple of days. She was here in the very beginning. I think I'm joking. And she's been on vacation with her family. I'm joking
Oh,
about her.
okay, yeah.
She's right here.
It's just like the
Yeah,
one time I,
she's been in chat. Yeah, I'm
the
picking
one
on
time I
her.
show up running my mouth, Sarah's not here for it. That was what I was freaking out about.
But another thing that your moderators will do for you too is like they'll engage your chat, and like when hopefully my mods know this, if I can't say hello, I hope that they do for me. And if I'm engaged with someone on my panel, like we were just saying, I hope that they say, she's, blah blah blah, this is the topic, blah blah blah. But usually if you've got good mods, which I do, they'll engage your chat when they see that you're busy.
Well, here's the other element in that everybody's going to hate me for. God, I'm such a curmudgeon. When I get in a live, okay, I'll tell you this real quick and I'll shut up and let y'all, whoever wants to come up, whatever. What I cannot tolerate that. Me either. I tried. I'm sorry. No offense. I've tried 2 or 3 times. It's just no. But and that's like I say, everybody say more about me than it does about her. I'm not trying to diss her.
Yeah, everybody's got their preference.
When YouTube very first started doing these live streams, like I said, this is not going to make me popular, but I'm honest as hell is the thing.
Me
so
too. Me too.
Rapidly starting liking me because I'm just fucking. But I'm old, whatever. But when they very first started introducing live streams, I went, oh shit, because I just knew that this was going to bring a whole lot of weirdness. I knew with people's egos and webcams and I knew what it was getting. Not that it's all bad. There's a lot of good that comes. I'm saying I saw the glitches coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me personally, trying to cope with things, and y'all hear me complain about this in some of the chats a lot. Not complain, but just making my statement about it. When I first started listening to live chat, for months, as soon as I turned on a live stream, I closed the chat. And I just listened to the live stream. I didn't see chat for months and months and months because I could not, and there again, it's me, it's my cognitive stuff. I could not even stand that move, even if I wasn't reading it, just that movement going on to the side while I'm trying to listen to the creator. So I wouldn't even open the chat for months and months and months. And then I started getting a little bit more acclimated to, reading chat. But even still to this day, if I start reading a comment that stands out to me or a conversation even that stands out to me in chat, I'm immediately losing what the creator is saying at the moment. That happened to me a lot in Jimbo's last night.
Okay.
He would say something, I just had enough going, what did he just say? Because I was reading something, I cannot do both. I don't know how y'all do this.
Yeah. Now that's another thing that mods will also do is try to steer the conversation and chat to what the creator is talking about. Like I've seen in Benny's or let's say Dolly's where they've got 300 people in there at a time. People are starting to have conversations with each other in chat. And I've noticed like Dolly's admins would come in and say, please keep the chat, whatever with whatever Dolly is talking about. And I think that's kind of good too, because
I mean, that's good as well. I really do. Yeah. But I get lost in it every single live chat, live stream that I'm trying to follow. I'm in that war. I'm in that battle of look at chat, listen to this, either. But I'm getting better at it. but the scrolling, the moving target of trying to read a fast chat, like in Rats or sometimes in Jimbo, I'm
Oh
just getting,
gosh, I know it. When there's
I'm just
like
like,
that many, that I would
I think,
panic if I was the creator. I would panic with that many. I mean,
I
I'm
think I
glad
made a
that I'm
comment
getting to build it up slowly because I mean,
in
I would
Jimbo last
panic.
time. A comment that I think it's just between my age and my vision and my cognitive problems. Like it's all about at 12 or 1 o'clock. The hour, I think that late at night makes it even more of a challenge for me. I think
Yeah,
like during the
I
day,
fall asleep. Even if I take a nap, I doze off. I try so hard, but I'll doze off and wake back up and try to get back in chat, and sometimes it's hard. But
so
yeah,
I'm a very, I hate this word of being overused, but I'm a very organic person. So I don't even acclimate well to the whole modern technology life of using cell phones all the time and text messaging and being on a keyboard and trying to type in a live moving conversation because I'm
right.
a typist, but then doing all that when it gets to be 12 and 1 o'clock at night, it's just a quadruple challenge for me.
Yeah.
So I used to be very antisocial, and I still am a little bit. That I would go in these. I would never read chat. I do now. That's kind of me. Yeah, the mob
Yeah.
mentality that goes
Now,
on. Okay.
that's what I was gonna say about like people like Dolly or Josh at the lab. Their mods when they direct the chat to stay on topic, uh, that gives them the ability to see the trolls. You know,
Oh yeah,
they really stand out if
like
you
who's
are
deliberately trying to segue
right.
into.
You see the psyoping. Yeah, they're deliberately trying to take the let's just say back when Summer we were going over Summer's case, how often did someone come and chat and just randomly say so and so's bad, and it's like that's not what we're talking about. Would you shut up?
Right.
That's
Some
not what
little
we're
thing that
talking
went on
about.
in some other creator's thing, and then they're bringing it into a chat that somebody's trying to talk about.
In my opinion, you're being a psyop at that point because you
Yeah,
purposely are directing the chat away from the topic.
yeah.
You know,
And the thing I would probably get haters for is, like I said, I'm just sticking my. I have a weird, dark sense of humor, and I'm just a pain in the ass.
that's
But
okay.
but because of the era I come from, like I said, I'm 60. But when I did first start listening to the live streams, the creators versus conversation with their chats going on, um, and to this day, every time all the meet and greet stuff exchanges going on, and it's filling up the chat, it's bloating the chat with everybody trying to say hi back. But it reminds me of the romper room, the old romper room. I've
Really?
heard other people bring this up, and I thought, okay, it's not just me, but a lot of people don't know what we're talking about. We're back in the 60s and maybe into the early 70s, but romper room was black and white. That's how old it was.
Yeah.
And Miss So and so, whoever the little teacher, like a little preschool show, but she always had her magic mirror. And the biggest deal about Romper Room is at the end of the show or sometime in the middle of the break, for the commercial break, she'd pull up her magic mirror, which really was just an open, hollow mirror frame. And she would act like she was looking into the camera through her mirror. And do you remember this, Gypsy? And
Uh-uh.
a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. But she would start calling out random names, and every child, every 5-year-old was sitting cross-legged and glued to their TV, waiting for Miss Barbara to call their name through the
Wow.
magic mirror. Because she would say, "I see Barbara, and I see Michael, and I see Clifford," and she would read off like 20 or 30 names through that thing until the next show, and she'd do it. It was a staple part of Rob.
Wow.
Because I'm so weird and old. And when live stream first started, and so all the creators, took to that protocol of greeting their chat people, your romper room. Like,
You know what it
oh,
reminds me of?
hey.
That's fantastic. It reminds me of church. You know, when you're standing there at church and everybody wants to shake your hand and you're saying, "Hey,
Yeah,
fellowship, fellowship
yeah.
at church." You know,
I'm
and
just so
everybody's saying
antisocial.
hey.
I'm like, can we just get on with it? You're like, yeah, I'll say hi to somebody in chat that I just like. I'll say hi to you sometimes because I was just in here chatting with you, and then a little while later we're in Jimbo's, and I'll greet you again because I just had
Right.
some. So I do it. I get it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, everybody kiss everybody's ass. Can we get on with this? You know, talk about stuff.
Yeah, it reminds me of us all greeting each other at church, only the old man's not giving me a piece of candy in his hand this time. At least then I got a piece of candy, you know?
If I get my channel started, you're going to understand all of this just by the
I hope
name.
you do. What did you say you were going to name it?
I didn't say because I don't want anybody to steal it.
Okay. All right, you don't have to say.
I'll tell you what I might do, though. Y'all can help me with this. Is I might set it up, or can I change the name I already have? Just change it to the name of the channel I want to start.
Yeah,
because
you can do that.
Here's the problem I have. I'm sorry, I'm boring all y'all to death in chat. Oh my God.
No, you're not.
But because there's nobody there to bore, I'll run them all off. How many?
I think there's only 3 in here. That's all right.
See, I don't even know where to look for that. I don't even know. Fly. What was I saying? That oh crap, I forgot. I got what she's throwing. Oh, thank you, .com. Thank you, sweetie pie. I'm a curmudgeon. That's one of the. Oh, I know. I was asking. When the gift membership started going out, I figured out, and so did a few other people, that this goes back to if any of y'all can remember when Google sort of bought or merged with YouTube.
I remember.
Okay, how many years ago? I had my simple little YouTube channel that was what you see at Sandy Says.
We still have people here.
Thank you, Daisy Joe. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot. And the DN, thank you too. Okay, so when I had this old YouTube account, the only account I've ever had. Sandy Says that y'all see me on every day now. When Google bought them, they forced you to change that account to a Google account, not just a YouTube account. You had to tether that. Okay, thank you. And at that time, I was like, because I don't like Google. I'm not a Google person. Ask Jimbo what I have put him through with me trying to get a membership on his channel because I refused.
Right, and I used my married name on one and maiden name on the other, and now I've got to go fix all that at the DMV to get
I think
paid.
I'm just going to have to throw in the towel. All these years I've fought it. So what happened, if this helps somebody else, or y'all can help somebody else to get confused with it, is I refuse to tether Sandy Says YouTube to Google. So I had to open a new Google account. I have that. I have a Google account, which I think by default has a YouTube channel associated with it that I don't use. So when the gift membership started getting doled out, that's what I figured out is if you have what's called, I don't know why they call it, but it's called a brand account or a branded account. If somebody else in Jimbo's chat noticed it too, Rap's aware of it, that yeah, some people, they know what these branded accounts are. It means that when I had to open my Google account, but refused to tether the YouTube to it, they make your YouTube account a branded account under your main Google account. So somebody gifted me a membership in Rap's channel. I can't even go on Sandy Says. There is no accept gift membership. It doesn't exist. I can't set that option to even accept gift membership because it's a brand account. So somebody in Rap last week sent me a gifted membership, and I was like, what? I got this email. I was like, all excited. It went to my main Google account that I don't use to talk to you guys.
Oh, wow.
And that's actually the account that I had to log in on StreamYard just now. So see, I learned something new about that. I'm not on my Sandy Says account. I just typed in Sandy Says, for my name on here. So y'all would know who I was.
Oh, wow.
So I got to figure all that because my Sandy Says account, sorry, I'll get finished in 5 seconds, y'all. the Sandy Says account, I don't know. Y'all gonna look the about page. You can't do it from here because I'm not on it. But I probably have had that account since like 2009 or 2012 or something like that.
Yeah, I've had this one since 2014, I think. But it's my personal account, and I guess I need to move my family stuff off because it seems like everybody's channel gets taken at least once,
Um,
so with
yeah,
this mobster crap in here, so I
yeah.
guess I should move everything off and put it in the cloud or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, I've got to figure all that out. So I don't know if I should take my old branded Sandy Says account and turn it into the new account that I want to start live streaming on because it's old and established. If I start a new account that's properly connected to Google and I can have all the perks that come with the channel studio and everything, it's going to be a completely new account that
right,
nobody's going to know it's me. So I've seen other people have to do that. So sorry to
yeah.
make that so long and rambling and
No,
over
it's
explaining
okay.
it. But so I can go on the YouTube access that I have through my Google account. I got a notice yesterday on one of Rat's member posts,
Mhm.
but I can't, it's not on my Sandy Says account. I have to go through Google to even, and that kind of was a
Mm.
pisser because whoever gifted me that membership, I can't even use it on my Sandy Says account that they
Well,
gifted
that
it to.
stinks.
Nobody knows me on YouTube other than Sandy Says, and that's what I was in this
Right.
chat when but it Google when they processed the gift membership, it just directed it to my Google account, which I
Well, that
accidentally started a new
stinks.
account somehow doing that.
Right.
So I
I
think I
was
need to
gonna
get all this.
I was gonna
But
be Joan of Arc, and then somebody took that name. I can't remember whose chat I saw it in, maybe Benny's. So I changed it to Gypsy Soul, and then True Gypsy Soul came around, so I changed mine to Real Gypsy Soul. So good luck with
that
whatever you
did
pick. You'll get a
that did
troll.
get a little. This channel name, I'll tell you, I'll email it to you. But this channel name that I picked out, it's been God. I said too, it's probably been over 3 years ago. And I thought if I ever do a YouTube account, it's going to be this name. But it's also going to be a maybe a blog. But do the whole umbrella thing. Pick that name and whatever, and go with it. Do blogs, do a YouTube channel. But I don't see me staying that involved in keyboard activity, and I just don't see me being that committed to blogging and live streaming,
Mhm.
oh,
Well, the only blogging I do is on my community wall. I was gonna do that
thank
too,
you,
and
October 50. I just saw your comment. Go ahead, Dipsy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah, I hope
I
you
did
get
my
going
favorite.
though, because you've got some interesting perspectives on things, and
Um,
I think that
I
you
could,
you
I
have
could,
a successful channel.
I could rattle on a lot deeper about a lot of things. There's some rabbit holes I've been in that I don't even want to perpetuate by having an opinion publicly about it. Like it's just stuff that I want to bury. It's just some deep rabbit holes, a lot of conspiracy stuff. There was a time, 2010, 11, 12. I was a late bloomer on Facebook. I hadn't been on Facebook that long at the time. I was later than everybody else. But anyway, there was 5 of us. I was an administrator on a Facebook conspiracy truther page that grew into over 150,000 followers. And I was posting on that every day, sometimes for hours a day. But I was researching stories and conspiracy facts and, posting. I had 500 something posts on that page.
Wow, I'd like to hear
But
about that because I tend
that
to
was
be
a
a
lot of work.
conspiracy theorist.
You are. I can tell you've been into something.
Yeah, I don't believe
But I'm
shit at face value. I think they're
I
keeping a lot from us.
it's like some of those rabbit holes that we mentioned earlier, getting into the new age stuff and the gurus and the whatever. And I was in Facebook. If any of y'all are still active on Facebook for any length of years now, I was on that active truther page, working my butt off on it all the time, learning a lot, just as YouTube started putting the hammer down, Facebook, but the powers that be beyond Facebook, of course, when they started constricting and restricting what they were allowing to be posted, and they started, like so we had 150,000 followers, we would put a post up and it would have thousands of likes on it, in an hour. Then they started changing all their algorithms and restricting all of us people. So we would put our post up with the same number of followers and it would have 10 likes on it, maybe 100 likes on it. Like all of our activities got restricted down to about 10% of what we were used to reaching and interacting with. But that was from everybody went through it. It was from their algorithm restrictions that they started putting on it. It was getting out of hand. And then all the trolls were following, the troll agents were coming in and they start trying to stir the pot in your comment section under certain kinds of posts. And then in the community as a whole, the way that they combated the information that was getting out is they would, this gets a little convoluted, y'all, but they would impose disinfo agents, plant them into the community to add information and comments and infiltrate deliberately to send everything sideways.
Yeah.
Deliberately to make anything that people were uncovering that nobody expected the internet to, create that problem quite so big. The way that they started controlling it was putting a lot of information trolls in it to deliberately make it sound nutty, and people listening to it or taking it
I
in.
think you are so right. That I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen that happen here, where they come in and they try to make you sound like you're a nut job, but it makes perfect sense. And to me, that's a psyop.
It is. It was all psyops, and we had our hands full. I mean, the experience that we went through running that page, it changed overnight. I learned from rabbit holes. I get into conspiracies, but no, when they come. Thank you. Yes, and that's kind of what happened to me. Maybe a little too late, but because I was so dug in. But when it got that bad, and it was like almost literally overnight, you could experience the difference before your eyes every single day in how Facebook was controlling the information that was being put out and sabotaging it. And then let's say you hit on some really stuff that would affect a lot of masses if they really started understanding the information. They would infiltrate some really twisted information into that and spread that into all the websites they were running in their own Facebook that were sharing it with other Facebook groups. It would get all spread around, and all of a sudden the information you knew was right was completely morphed into some sci-fi tinfoil hat bullshit.
Right.
And that's how they squashed it. That's how they kept too much information from getting out to too many people, is making everybody look crazy, infiltrating it with Lulu clown show stuff. And oh my God, it just got so exasperating. It really did.
Now, those rabbit holes that you're talking about, were they political or health oriented or?
Everything. I came into that in my history long before that, like decades before that, was because I'm born and identify as an environmentalist, a tree hugger. And, like in my 20s, in my teens, and because I was paying attention to that, I was learning about food supply and the industrial food industry, and I was learning about big pharma, and I was learning about vaccine and that dirty word. And all that, that's where my soapbox was just on that. And I ended up following this Facebook page, that group that was established. And they eventually invited me several times to come start administrating. The first few times I said, no. But being on that page is when it expounded into the political, into what, historical and modern and everything in between, like this. That is a mind blower. That really is a mind fuck, because you're raised a certain way, you go to school, you learn certain history, you learn how the world works, you learn
Right.
how doctors heal us and, whatever, and how the banks hold our money for us and all. And you're totally in, and you have to, it's called the discovery phase, which is very difficult when you're discovering this surreal information that is just blasting you left and right. And you can't assimilate all that. And then you're like, wait, I've been lied to. Everybody's lying to me. Everybody that runs this world is full of shit, and none of this is running the way they're trying to make us think it's running and happening.
Well, I
And
see that in
that was a hard
cases.
journey.
I see
I'm
that
sorry.
in cases that we are sleuthing. When we are
Yeah.
sleuthing these cases, I'm not going to say who the creators are, but a certain specific one would bulldog people into, why do you think that, blah, 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 you're a bad person for thinking that. Back when everybody thought that the Wells were guilty, now it seems everyone's had a change of heart. And it seems like that happens so much in chat. It was like, they weren't letting us critically think because it was so much, and they weren't letting us sleuth. And then it turned from sleuthing the Wells and the case to sleuthing each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care what's in Sandy Says' closet. I want to know they're missing a kid. She ain't,
And
it
here we
seems
are
like
today from that
and here
result.
we are
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
in each other's closet. I want to know what was going on that day she went missing more than I care about Sandy Says' closet,
Yeah. No, that you're absolutely right, and that it's morphed into this. Like I said earlier, it's morphed into. That's how I got in this. Like everybody else, I was following all my true crime. I was following Summer Wells and all the other cases that came
but even
before and
local
after.
police are guilty of it. Don't you feel like?
Yeah. It's so easy for them to. All right, let's say
I
that.
agree.com. I totally agree. I can never get past that mattress. If I could just say
I
that.
I just with that following it, I mean, all day, every day, just like y'all did at the time. I don't do
Mhm.
that anymore, but following it diligently for over a year, um, my ping pong game would never. I was like solid on what I thought, and then things would come along that made me second guess that, and then I was leaning more towards. I can't condemn these people. There's just not enough, and I'm getting too much of this information that's influencing
Yeah.
me from YouTubers that I don't know if I should trust.
Yeah.
And too many of
Yeah.
them have agendas of wanting that clickbait and wanting those views and wanting those numbers. So they're twisting and turning things and insinuating things. So it got too blurry. And I kept going back and forth to the point. It was like, white flag. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know which one of them or both knew what or whatever. That's the only place
Yeah.
I can leave now is that I think they could know. They may have not quote done anything. That doesn't mean they didn't. It means I'm just hypothetical saying they could have not done anything, but they could have knowledge.
Now, see, will you turn on the air? Now, see, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what happened that day, so I can't judge based on that, but I can judge on how they took care of the kids before that. And I can pass judgment on that. And the mattress done me in. And the trash can full of toilet paper that's used, that kind of done me in. And the fact that there was no door on the bathroom and they had regular house guests that were men, I have a problem with those things.
I have issues with the setting being prime for something clandestine to happen.
Yeah.
Did they know what was happening or going to happen? Did they have a hand in it? Or was it just their poor living and parenting skills that made the situation right for
Yeah.
some
There you
nefarious
go.
person who caused the
Right.
situation. So it gets so blurry. Like when we say
Right.
blaming them, what does
Right.
that mean? Does that mean they set up an orchestrated, a kidnapping or trafficking
Hey,
situation with her
coach.
child? Does what?
Coach. It's
Oh,
coach.
there's saying, Jimbo, I'm on panel. He's never seen me on
Sandy
panel
says made
either.
it on panel today. I'm
Hey,
trying to talk her into
Jimbo.
getting her channel going.
Jimbo's the first time I've ever been on a panel at all, so I'm breaking myself in with the best person I could be doing it with is Gypsy. So anyway, hey
C.com
Jimbo.
says, I can't not say with certainty what they did, but I will say they are responsible 100% with Summer being gone. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And people don't always agree with me when I say this. My daughter was an adult. She was moved out of the home. I get all that, but I'm mom. So because she sought refuge with people that were unsavory, I feel like that's my fault, and I'm always going to feel like her death is my fault, even though she was in another town and I had nothing to do with it. I'm mom. I'm mom. And I should have done things differently throughout the course of her life so that she didn't make choices that she did. That's just sort of how
So you're
I'm
taking
always gonna
on
see it.
accountability for the not which, how far was she from you when that happened? Like she
2
was away
hours.
doing her own thing.
Right. She
Or
was about 2 hours.
so
Yeah.
you feel like you have some accountability for why she was living or being the way she was with who she was, or you like the
Right.
company she was in. You feel
Right,
responsible for
exactly, exactly. And I feel guilty that she trusted a doctor to give her a pill for her back pain, and she saw mom trust doctors and take pills for a whatever the word is. And I feel like she always thought, well, if mom trusted doctors, a pill is okay. But opiates weren't okay. It wasn't okay for her to continue taking Oxycontin and Percocets and that sort of thing. But I think that she saw mom take them and trust doctors, then it must be okay if it's prescribed. And I feel like I gave her a false sense of security, that I didn't teach her, don't trust what the doctors give you, and be vigilant and do your due diligence in looking up what are the side effects. Is this something that can cause me other health problems? Could this lead me into a spiral? And I feel like she, made those choices based off watching me. Like take for instance when I had a high profile job like you did, and you're in front of the camera, you're in front of the TV. Whether that my employer put that pressure on me or not, they really didn't. It was mine. I felt like I had to stay thin, I had to stay fit, I had to be perfect, because if you're perfect, you'll be loved. And because I adopted that way of thinking, that rubbed off on her. And so I feel like she was always trying to live up to other people's expectations. And when she didn't, she fell into this downward spiral and she gave up. And I feel like, you know, I'm going to feel responsible for that because I'm mom. You know what I mean?
well, but all that went down in an era where the masses were misunderstanding and I don't want to say brainwashed, but like everybody took this class of drugs from a medical professional for a purpose, for a reason. Not everybody could figure out what, and that's why we study and research now, because those are the kind of things we learn from. Wait a damn minute, and I'll tell you
Critical
this.
thinking. Yep.
I have parents who are in their 80s and not doing well at all. I mean, at all. And I've watched them get, because that's what they come from. By the way, Jimbo, it's Sandy says, my number's not up there anymore, so I don't know if he even knew who was yelling at him a minute ago. It's Sandy says.
I'll put it back up there.
um, But anyway, sorry. Is that my parents, when they started aging and having some health problems, uh, and all the procedures that shouldn't have happened and all the drugs and pills that shouldn't, I just have a certain attitude. um, everything out of their mouth, every sentence started with, well, the doctor said.
Right.
Well, the doctor said. And as I mentioned, I
Right.
came from much earlier in life, the black sheep out of that thinking, and I was environmental and I was studying food and medicine and everything early in life. So I had a very different take on how all this stuff works than they do. They're totally indoctrinated to it. So when I would say, well, and I'll try to approach it gently, but every response was, well, the doctor said, well, the doctor said. My
Right.
stepdad is a raging asshole. You can't even be in the same house with the man as it is. That's a lifelong situation. He's old. He started having health ailments, and they put him on prednisone, which is ew. But some people need their prednisone. It has its
Right.
purpose. But he was on it for so long and having other problems that were not being properly treated, that he started taking Xanax to offset the prednisone symptoms. And I knew his own doctor didn't know what this to say. I knew that benzodiazepines is one of the worst drugs that you can put elderly people on. It just catapults them into dementia. It's just terrible. It's clinically proven to be a horrible thing for older people to take. His doctor on this Xanax and then like doubled his dose. And then like a year later, I was up there visiting. They're out of state, and he said, "Well, the doctor said just go ahead and take it all the time, every day, if I need to, instead of just taking it when I feel like I need it. Just take it all the time." And I'm, oh my god. So that's just one example. He thought he got chronically sick with bronchial bad stuff, and he only has like 30% of one of his lungs for decades now, and he kept getting real sick.
Yeah.
And I tried to talk to him about vitamin C and how things to kick these things. And I drink my Sunny Delight every day. That's all he kept recourse to that is I drink my Sunny Delight
Don't
every
feel
day.
bad. I'm drinking Sunny Delight.
Oh God. But anyway, back to your point, Gypsy. So, it's a trickle down thing of what we are
Yeah.
told to understand and what we believe until we know better that we need to do our own research. And you're going through that with your
Hmm.
metformin now, which I don't
Yeah.
understand that much about it. That's why I didn't say too much about it in your chat yesterday. And well, I missed the whole first part of it when you were really talking about that a lot. But I was trying to figure out, I've heard of it, but I don't know that much about what it's for, what the side effects and all that. But it just broke my heart that you are struggling, and I can hear it in you that you're doing that angel devil back at, like, I don't want to take this stuff, but I need this stuff, but it's making me miserable and sick. And it's like, how do I
Right.
rectify this? Like, you're scared if you don't take it because you don't know where your health issues are going to go. And what are my alternatives? If I don't do that, then what can I do or what should I
Right.
do? And the older we get, the more that head gymnastics. I mean, I'm going through it now with some things. Like I said, I'm 60 and I'm starting to, you know, question, should I loosen up my reins on my I'm not totally against modern medicine.
You have got
If I
great skin. If you are in your, you got
did,
beautiful skin.
I can't
Yes.
really see myself.
Do you have Native American in you?
I think I've got a little bit. We
You
have
have beautiful skin.
I'm not reflecting it at the moment. We have from my mother's side, we have quite a bit of melanin in our skin. Like I will tan black as black. I
I
will
bet you
tan.
do.
I used to just.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah, I don't
stark
lay out anymore either.
bimbo blonde white hair. Lived in
Did you
Florida for
really?
30 years. I had bimbo blonde hair and the blackest tintest halfway through the summer. Oh, I digress like an idiot. But halfway halfway through the summer, I had a pool in my backyard. I was at the beach. I was, tan. And about halfway through the summer, I would have to start putting on sunblock that I don't normally like to use, or just staying out because I look too freaky.
Yeah.
I started looking like one of those weird ladies that got white hair, and like the contrast between my hair and my skin was just way too weirdo, freak show looking. So I'd have to start trying to curb that a little bit. But yeah, I don't burn. I don't use sunscreen. I think that Southern Girl and I were talking about that in her chat the other day, just a couple of days ago, about who uses
Yeah.
sunscreen. She said she never uses it, and I don't
Yeah.
either. But
I didn't
but
until I
anyway,
got older. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and
you get,
end this. He's wanting to have a meeting before we have dinner, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this
oh, is that
and
the
go
Kenny?
have a bathroom break.
I need one myself. I need a cigarette and I need a bathroom break. So I didn't mean to hog and overpower
I'm so glad
your
you
time.
did. No, I'm so glad you did. I really appreciate you coming up.
And I think it would be good if we, I mean, you don't have to have me up for it, but if you do another live expanding on this intuition thing a little bit,
I absolutely will, because
and
it's an
keep
ongoing
fleshing it.
thing.
Because I'm not good at rambling. I mean, I'm good at rambling on. That's why I'm not good at keeping to the point. But I feel like there are a lot of people who could use some guidance, a little help, a little, help exploring how to stay in touch with their intuition, how to identify it, recognize it for what it is, and not continuously make the mistake that I was trapped in for so long. Of
Right.
not understanding the tuition when it was there for me. I wasn't recognizing any of that. It was just some weird fleeting thought, and then the other overpowering conscious thought would take over, and I'd follow that. And should have listened to that first thought I had. Oh, that's what intuition is. Okay, I get it. So,
Well, you have a good night, and I'll probably see you in chat 5 more times.
well, thank you for letting me lose my virginity on your.
You did great, and I hope you get your channel up and going, because it's going to be really interesting.
Well, you've encouraged me to give it some more serious thought, and I will figure it out. Like somebody was helping me in chat about it was .com, or Daisy said that you can change, just add some numbers to your name and change it. That whole branded account thing I was talking about, where I need to associate it with Google.
Okay.
I probably need to deal with that before I make a channel. I need to rectify that problem, I think. Because if I just started uploading live and making videos on Sandy Says, I think I'm going to be very limited with the, just like you can't get gift memberships on it. Well, I don't know if I can even do live streams from that channel, even though if I met criteria, I don't know. So I got to do it a little bit. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Give me something new to focus on.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all later then. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Run to the
Thank
bathroom.
you, Gypsy. thanks, girl, for hanging out, and Jimbo. Talk to y'all soon.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.
Life is harder than I like to think, but it's easy when you're by my side. No point in calling, you just have to see the fundamentals of our life tonight. Cause I've been looking at a photograph of you, and I've been thinking about all the ways you move. This isolation got me feeling like I'm